Everyone's so far away, so far. Is everyone feeling shy? You don't want to be close to us, everyone? You don't need to be shy. Come closer to us so you can see Chelle. Everyone move closer. You're so far away. Don't be shy. Move down if you can.
Come on down.
Come on down, guys.
That's a good idea, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Move down. Is everybody ready? Is everyone comfortable? I'd like your attention, please. Hello? Can you please let the person next to you know I'm waiting for everyone to look at me? Give everyone a tap. Let them know I'm waiting. Thank you. Fabulous. Right. We're almost at the end. We're almost there. Not quite, but we're nearly there. So I appreciate you all staying. I'd like to introduce Chelle, destefano. This is her sign name for Chelle. She has a long history of art and being a creator in Melbourne and Adelaide and then back to Melbourne again. Did you start in Melbourne, Chelle?
Yes, I started in Melbourne a long time ago. And so that was where my start was, and I did my new course and everything.
Okay, great. And then?
Yeah, determined to finish it, that's right.
And then you came to Adelaide and went back to Melbourne and found much success. So can you please tell us your story? Tell us about what's been happening, your process, about your work, what you have included in the exhibition, what you've done in the past, and what you're looking forward to in the future. I'll hand over the mic now to Chelle. Thank you, Chelle.
Hello, everyone ready? Hello, hello. Awesome. Okay, so I'm here, I'm Chelle, you know me. And so I'll talk about what art is for me. So what does art mean for me? So when I was younger, I lived in Melbourne, about an hour out from Melbourne, and it was an hour from my school. And I grew up and, you know, I felt that I was really isolated. There was computer games. There was one called picture graphics. And I would look at them, and it was really inspiring for me, actually, when I saw those things. And so I really loved the complex process of creating artwork. And I started to follow the art that I could see on these games and try and sort of replicate them and recreate them, and they were looking all right. And I wasn't sure if I was a true artist or not at that time. But when I was 14 in high school over in Melbourne, I was really into drawing, and I drew a wonderful shoe, drew on a wonderful shoe and really created it, and it looked real. So I drew, a picture of a shoe with pencil, and my mother really praised me for that, and I thought maybe I could become an artist. And it wasn't until I finished high school, and many people were saying you can't make any, money from art, and so I went down the scientific path. And for me, I was like, that's not ready for me. So I dropped this idea of making money, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to follow my heart. And because I actually started to sell some of my work, my parents really realised that I could start making money from art. And I wasn't actually making it from science. And that's when my mum realised she had it all wrong and started encouraging me to follow my passions. And I went uphill from there. And so I decided, I finished working my 9-to-5 job. I was frustrated, I lost my job because I was deaf, all that kind of thing, and I really focused on art from there on in. And I decided, you know what? I was sort of feeling like I was a bit at a glass ceiling, so I needed to move back to Victoria after being in Adelaide for so long. I was nearly 40 at that time when I decided to do that, and so I moved back, and that's when my art started to evolve. What I had started, it was my master's for contemporary art. And then with COVID, the lockdown happened. I really focused on that. And
My partner was amazing.
My partner was really amazing. She was an ex-interpreter a long, long time ago, Claire Bridge. And she was an artist herself, and so we had done courses. And, you know, we were talking about how deaf people need a voice in the art world. And so I was unpicking, you know, some of my identity and my deaf experiences and how I could integrate that. Because when I was living here in Adelaide, I didn't know who I was. I was a deaf person, but I didn't understand it fully, and I had those frustrations. And why? It was because of the autism, and the autism in COVID was outstanding. It was a big impact for me during that time. And over the next few years, I started to make performance art and really became a multidisciplinary artist. Using performance, textiles, you know, in a multidisciplinary way to incorporate poetry and Auslan poetry, which you can see my work out in the gallery. And so I've got about 3 or 4 pieces of work out there. And with the poetry, I realised I could express poetry in a gestural way, in my language of Auslan, and in a gestural way. Like, for example, recently I learned a lot about visual vernacular. And so I've incorporated some of that into my art, you know, where this is an example of some of my work, you know, to show you my performance. So it feels like water rising and then wading through. Where's the deaf community? So that's an example of my work, and prior to that time, you know, this is really talking about my experience in primary school. They didn't let me have access to my language, and one of the things is I recognise that that was a huge impact on me later in life, because I had lost my language during that time, and it wasn't until 15 or 16 that I learned Auslan, and it was like, finally, my hands, you know, that I could communicate. And I felt that I had deaf people in my community. And that's an example of my work. That was in 2020. Yep. In 2020, I used embroidery on fabric, which is covered above my art. And you can see that upstairs. And what happened is that I actually I applied for an art award, and I won that award using my art. And I was I was a finalist for that, and then I was one of about 80 finalists that got the award, and then they picked me to win. And the reason why is hearing people there was no sound. So unfortunately, the audio wasn't working on the piece. And there was no captions. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to decide to give them the deaf experience. And it was really funny when the audio didn't work. It really gave the judges a way to be immersed into my work. And for me, I have embroidered and cross-stitched the same colour as the fabric to give the hearing people difficulty. When they're trying to read those words that have been embroidered. It's almost like the experience of deaf people lip reading. And so that really made me realise once I had got that, it was so important to give hearing people the deaf experience, to give them artwork that was only presented in Auslan, so that they could learn and share the same experiences that I have.
So that was just one example of my artwork. I've also done drawing and painting for a very, very long time. I'm a very experienced embroiderer, performer, and I really enjoy all of those disciplines. Sculpture helps me to express things very deeply. I use facial expression or different shapes to portray what I'm trying to express through my art. You can see this out in the exhibition through a few of my pieces. I do have one copper piece out there that is quite tangled up, pieces of copper. And I use one sign lexicon for each. And you can see the deaf culture encapsulated in these small artworks of mashed metal sculpture. You can see those, they're all put together next to each other. They work together and they represent technology and my access and how I've had barriers to my access for a long time. But recently also with Zoom and all these things that became popular through COVID, you know, my language I'm showing through my artwork. Also printmaking I've been involved in for a long time. Different ways of etching into stamps and making prints from those and seeing the beautiful different colours and textures that come out of that. And the message that I give out is, you know, ask questions. When you see art, you should think about things. It's not just a matter of, oh, whatever, I see the art. Have a look deeply into the art. Find the answers to the questions or have questions for the artist. It should be a creative discussion every time you see an artwork. That's very important to me. In 2020, my friend asked me to collaborate, and I was really excited about that. It was a deaf digital art that we were going to make together. We asked deaf people to submit videos, and we were hoping that at that time that we would get lots of submissions. And we did. It was amazing. It was a very, very powerful project. There were some funny submissions, some submissions of trauma, and so it ranged through the whole spectrum. We were able to collaborate together and bring all these videos into a channel per se, a video channel that became our art. We did that last year. It was a real journey making this with everyone's stories all coming together. We toured around Victoria getting submissions from many, many different people, and we were able to show the artwork back to many different people. It was extremely powerful and impacted the community. We had many people come to see that particular artwork. It was a real deaf voice that we were able to elevate and make some real traction with deaf awareness. Raising that out to the mainstream community was very important. Through that art, we were able to unpack things for deaf people and have the process of going back through other things and shared experience and how we see ourselves and each other. Then I had the opportunity through that project to work on other things, more specifically in theatre and performing arts. We made more abstract work. We had different ideas and how the environment affected us, and all artists, you know, the funny thing is we're giving sometimes some funny art or humorous art over very, very serious life events. One very important thing that I realised recently in the last 3 years was about autism in regards to my work. It's very, 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 very emotional and difficult for me, you know, trying to navigate my identity through art and deafness, wondering who I am. But today, interestingly, there's lots of people who have approached me, have known me for a long time, and say, "You're so different, you're so confident, Chelle. You know, you seem to have found your purpose. You know, your deaf identity is very, very strong." Back in the past when I was on Adelaide, I was just in the start of my journey to find my deaf and creative identity. So having this time to unpack and go through my journey in Melbourne and come back, develop my skills and use my different skills, it's exciting for people to see that change and to see what the future has for my life as a creative artist. So if anyone has any questions for me about my deaf identity or anything I've spoken about, please raise your hand. I know you went to Paris and you studied something. I know that. I know who you are. How long were you over in Europe studying in Paris? Oh, I didn't study in Paris. No, I did go to an art exhibition over there to learn about an artist in Paris and to make work, to have a look at the work over there and be inspired by that. And I met many, many, many people. But it was a very different experience, different culture, different people. And I hope in the future to go to Italy. That's my next goal. To have a look at a new artist over there or some new art over there. Some drawing. I do love some drawing that I've seen over in Italy. I'd love to go through, make some contacts to be able to do that. It's interesting, you know, when you can make those connections, when you see the, you know, one exhibition and you're able to make connections to go to another one. And I'm hoping that I will be able to do that because the Paris trip was in 2016. I'd love to be able to go to Italy sometime in the near future. But thanks so much for the comment or the question. Anybody else? So how do you feel about Adelaide now that you've moved away to Melbourne? What's your perspective of Adelaide? That's a wonderful question, really wonderful question. It's very different now compared to when I was here. For me, it's quite a shock. Everything's new. I left Adelaide because it was quiet and the art scene wasn't there. I think it's very different now. I thought of things very differently now. When I was living here before, I didn't have confidence. I was just emerging as an artist. I felt like it was very oppressive and restricting. And then I went back to Melbourne and everything was new and I learned so much. And now that I'm back here, everything is new and different. You know, the older people that are coming up to me and talking to me, everything feels different now. It's actually a great experience to be here today. Everything feels very different. I really appreciate the invite. Thank you, Kiara. It's amazing. It's been fantastic for me. It's a really new experience. It's a new Adelaide for me. I feel like an artistic, creative connection to Adelaide now. So thank you, Kiara. Thanks so much. Well done, Kiara. Is there anyone else? Yeah? Do you plan to move somewhere different soon for a new experience? Perhaps not in Melbourne, somewhere else? That's also a great question. You never know. I am open to moving around. I think Melbourne has a fantastic art scene and I'm very interested in travelling still for a few months here and there perhaps to do a residency somewhere in New South Wales perhaps or Queensland. Absolutely. There's other opportunities available in Western Australia, Northern Territory or overseas even. I'd be very much open to that. And I really hope to do that, as I said, in Italy. If an opportunity comes up, we'll have to see. But yeah, I'm very open to that. But you never know if I'll move somewhere else to live. That's a great question. Thank you for the question. Is there somebody else?
I was admiring your pants and jacket before. It's got a lot of tarot cards on it. I was wondering how you incorporate tarot or fortune telling or maybe a broader sense of spirituality into your art.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Great, great question. You are so on point with that. That's the point of why I plan to wear these. I also want to incorporate tarot into my artwork, into my weaving and my textile work. Also sculpture. I love to incorporate that into my work. It's not a plain thing, like a plain tapestry. It's not the same. I like it to be connected to something. You know, tarot and spirituality is a very important part of my identity in my life. The yarn perfectly fits into the concept of tarot. There's 2 or 3 things that I've learnt from my time here in Adelaide, that it's better not to rush. You know, don't rush. Sorry, 2 things that I learned from tarot. It's better not to rush, to take your time, to plan the things, to go easy with it. And then later, you can, after you've established that artwork, then you can apply for the funding and you never know how that's going to unfold. So that faith in the tarot and the process has been a good connection. So you build those processes and you've got to find ways to keep yourself motivated, and I like to use the tarot as a guide for me to go through the process of my artwork. Absolutely, I'm very, very interested in that. Thank you for the question. It's a fantastic question, and I'm glad you noticed that. Well done. Okay, is there anybody else?
I'm Zoe.
That's correct.
It's public now, you can't go back.
Yeah, that's my partner. That's her.
Have you done any other tarot work? Have you had any other tarot works? And if so, what were they?
Yes, I have. That's a great question. Thank you. You just prompted me nicely. Thank you. Now I have to remember back. I did make 5 different tarot artworks. That's correct. It was for a group collaboration, and we had
A group of tarot
a group of tarot cards, and they people had to pick a card, and we made the first year, we made 5 cups, and we were drawing on them, and the next one was for
lassos.
lassos.
I think. No,
Sorry, no, it was a wand. It was a wand. Sorry, that sign means lots of things. It was a wand, 4 wands, and this one was 10 Pentecostals. Oh, pentacles.
And the Prague.
And then the Prague. Sorry, I'm lost.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic to see the astrological kind of artwork, and fantastic to see astrological themes being approached in artwork. We had 6 cups, and then we also had, have you got it?
3 pence.
3 pence, there you go. Thank you for reminding me about that. That artwork is actually available, and you can see it overseas as well. And that artwork sold already, but it was good for reminding me over that I have included tarot in some other artwork pieces that I've had. I know you all love asking a million trillion questions. You can talk to Chelle after, okay? We're really in trouble with time. They're closing the space, so we have to leave. I'm so sorry. So I need to wrap everything up. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Chelle. It's been a great chat. I know. It's really great to have a chat, and everyone can go to the West Oak pub and have a chat over there. The West Oak is where everyone's going, but they're actually closing this space, like they're telling us to get out. So we can't keep chatting here. So you can, everyone, you know where the West Oak is? So it's literally under 1 minute walk. It's a 30-second walk. Everyone, 30 seconds, you can do it, it's fine, okay? So thank you so much, Chelle. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Everyone was so excited about your story. We had a million questions, and now we're really in trouble with time. So now we have to run. Thanks, Chelle.
So now I want to say thank you to all the sponsors and people who have been involved. This event, Deaf Gain, maybe I'll just throw that away. Deaf Gain. We're going to wrap it up now. This has been wrapped up, and I want to say just a huge thank you for everyone who came today. It feels like such a relief and so exciting to have done this and finished it, and we really want to say thank you to our family, our friends, supporting us while we were scrambling through and had to get everything done, and being exhausted organising everything. So thank you everyone to help, and I really want to thank this wouldn't happen without the Bob Hawke Centre at Bob Hawke Prime Ministerial Centre. I want to thank them so much, and I want to thank the Kerry Packer Gallery as well. Thank you for sponsoring us and having a 1 month exhibition of 8 artists, and also for Katrina having her history displays and putting them out. Thank you so much for being involved, and to those from Melbourne who flew all the way here to Adelaide to joining us in this discussion and unpacking, and for people to learn something from you. So thank you so much. I also want to thank Drizana from WA for coming and having such amazing questions and facilitating the panel. Thank you so much. We really value all of your involvements. Thank you so much. And we also want to say thank you to our team. You know, they have done so much work organising. It's the 3 of us. Thank you, Kiara, for organising interpreters, booking them, organising everything, and booking the event, the planning, having the conversations, the meetings, all of those things, the networking, getting in contact with people. It wouldn't have happened without you, so thank you so much. And Grace for writing the grant in the first place and starting this. Oh my God, this wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you. Yeah, thank you to the Arts SA for the government funding. We were successful with that, and that was really great. And this is why we could bring all this art together here, because Arts of SA and Kerry Packer Art Gallery, they really supported us in that. And also thank you so much to Ripple Effect for some grant funding as well for the curation of this. And also I want to thank Sign Language Australia for their donation as well. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to who? Deaf Butterfly Effect, because normally I'm doing the interpreting bookings and small events and things like that, but this is such a big event with so many extra hours of work, and you know, to say that I could be involved in this big event and doing this, I really appreciate the support from Deaf Butterfly Effect, and also ACE, who provided Grace as a brilliant support as well. Yes, and plus, hang on, important, wait, am I right? I want to thank the interpreters. The 2 interpreters here, they've been amazing. So really there should have been 4 interpreters, but 2 got knocked out, and so we've had 2 here today. They've taken on the massive workload, so thank you so much for that. You've been doing a fantastic job. Thank you. And lastly, thank you to all of you for coming. Thank you for coming. And also, thank you for the coffee cart. Thank you for flow cart, sorry. And thank you to all the volunteers as well. Please support the artists. Don't be afraid to approach them, ask them any questions in the West Oak Hotel. We're all heading there after this. Maybe buy their work, support them in any way you can. Thank you so much for coming. This is really a community event. You know, this is not about one person setting this up. Many people have been involved in many different ways. So it's been the best, it's been amazing. Thank you. Now you're all free to go.